Hello students, today in this video, we will look into the relation between the rising urbanization and the nature. But before going into the discussion of its relation, it is very important to understand that what has changed or what has evolved in the method of urbanization. So if you will look into, then the major change is involved in two different concepts. The first is agropolis concept and the second is Petropolis concept. What is the meaning of agropolis and Petropolis concept? It means that earlier the urbanization is defined in the terms of agricultural settlement, or you can say that urbanization was happening around the agricultural settlement. But today urbanization is driven by the fossil fuel, and this is called Petropolis. And because the urbanization is modeled today around the concept of Petropolis, it is very important to understand the relation between the urbanization and the nature. Just I want to give you one data that by 2050, 70% of the global population is going to live in urban area, and at the same time, that is by 2050, it has been reflected by IPCC report that there will be a drastic change in the climate change and resultant biodiversity loss. So basically the timeline of the urbanization and the impact of the climate change is matched, and therefore it is important to understand its relation. So the very first thing or parameter to understand the relation is what kind of energy we are using. Obviously, we are relying on the non-renewable energy, and it has its own implication in the terms of rising pollution and its impact on human health and its impact on the climate because of the CO2 emission. And therefore it is a high time, and the government has also taken a lot of steps so that we should move towards the renewable energy. We should move towards the renewable energy. The second is buffer to natural hazard. If there is a rising urbanization, at the same time, we will have to focus upon the steps which can check the impacts of the nature. For example, if you will visit to Mumbai, if you will visit to the cities around Godavari, then mangroves acting as a buffer to check the natural shocks coming from the coastal areas. The third is regulation of the climate. The regulation of the climate means that if you are focusing upon the climate friendly urbanization, that it will purify your nature, it will purify the air, it will purify the water, and it will have a positive impact on the lifestyle of the citizens. Then the next one is human health. Human health simply means that if you will see, then not only mental but the physical health is also interlinked with the rising urbanization. Because of the urbanization, we see traffic congestion, for example, in Bangalore, example in Delhi, example in Mumbai, and it has the link with the productivity, it has the link with the diseases that the human are facing today in the form of non-communicable diseases. Then property tax base. If you will go to the old Rajendra Nagar, for example, and if you will ask to the property dealer that, sir, why the price of this particular room is high, then he will say, सामने में एक पेड़ है, and therefore the nature is providing you good air, and therefore the property or the room rent is high. It simply means that if any property has a good amount of trees there, then its property rate is also higher. So therefore, whenever we are moving for the urbanization, we should try to integrate the nature as far as possible. Now we will see the next thing, that is what is the impact of urbanization. The very first thing, if you will see on the human, then just I am quoting one data that 1.4 million deaths has happened globally because of the air pollution. If you will see the impact on the biodiversity, then there is a rise of alien species, then there is an habitat destruction. If you will see Western Ghat, if you will see wetlands destruction, each and everything has an impact on the flora and the fauna of a particular region. Nature, if you will see in the terms of nature how it is impacting, then the pollution, and you can say approximately 75% of CO2 emission, or you can say 75% of urban areas are having higher CO2 concentration. And whenever there is a higher CO2 concentration, it will have an impact on the change in the climate. Then it has an impact on the economy also. Globally, it is expected that there is a loss of 31 trillion, or you can say that 31 trillion of the assets are under threat because of the mindless urbanization. Now we will see that why this is happening. The very first thing why this is happening is design flow in our urbanization. Whenever municipal authorities is designing the urbanization, they are not including hydrological, or basically they are not introducing hydrological system in the design of the urbanization. And this results into the concretization, of the urban area, and it has an impact on the water flow at the time of rains. And therefore you will see that even after heavy rains, water table is not rising. Then the second is linear metabolic system in urbanization. This metabolic system is not related to your digestive system. Linear metabolic system, that we are focusing upon only resource extraction, and there is no focus upon how we can augment our resource. Then commodification. We know that the rising culture amongst the millennials of exploiting the resources without having any respect for the nature, and the culture of consumption is one of the major problems for the urbanization. Then urban expansion. Urban expansion, according to the World Bank, is messy. And once it is messy, it simply means that you are not taking care of disposal of the solid waste, you are not taking care of your water bodies, and what is happening with the solid waste management, that the wastes are leaking and it is reaching to our soil, and the entire microbes of the soils are getting devastated. So these are the impacts. Next is cooling trap. What is happening? To understand the cooling trap, I am just giving you an understanding that rising CO2 emissions are rising in the urban area, then the urban heat island is happening. And to check the urban heat island, we should take, or we are taking measures so that we can make the area cool. But we cannot make the area cool of the particular region in the urban sphere, because we are using the items like freezes, AC, and other equipment that is releasing more and more CO2 in the atmosphere. So what is happening, that the urban heat island is getting augmented day by day. So these are the problems. Now, what are the steps which has been taken? Now, if you will see in the smart cities mission, the government is taking a lot of steps to use the technology so that we can integrate, or we can provide a better services to the people, and we can also have a green park for the green spaces in the urban area. Then this is the sites. The best example for sites is Howrah River Development Project. So Howrah River front development is happening keeping in mind the river of the region and the culture of the region. So they are integrating so that any development does not impact the Hooghly River. Then green city, Ministry of Renewable Energy is taking steps for having at least one green city in every state. Now, the question arises that what can be done? Then we can go for nature-based solution. What is the meaning of nature-based solution? It means we can have green walls, we can have green roofs, we can focus upon rejuvenation of the ponds, etc. Rejuvenation of ponds, wetlands, etc. Now, if you will see circular economy, it simply means that we will have to reuse and recycle and recover our products which we are using. Eco-housing. Eco-housing simply means that you are using the material which is eco-friendly. For example, clay and mud. Along with this, you are focusing upon proper ventilation while designing the house. Urban forestry. We are focusing upon developing planting 2 to 4 trees per square meter. These are the things or strategy which we can use. Now I just want to give you best model which you can use in your examination. Indonesia has one soul, one tree campaign. Under this one soul, one tree campaign, they are not only planting the trees, but at the same time, they are providing the opportunities for providing protection to the plants. Then Curitiba, that is in Brazil. If you will see, since from 1970, they have planted 1.5 million of the trees. You will say, sir, 1.5 million to India mein aise hi ho jata hai. But compare the geographical size of this particular place, Curitiba, and the India. Then Stockholm. In Stockholm, the 100% of the energy is from renewables and 99% of the waste are recycled. So in this way, you can address any answer coming in your mains paper with respect to relation between the urbanization and nature. I hope this particular topic gets completed. This has the best model, this has the data, this video has points, each and everything I have discussed here. So I hope this will help you in writing your answers. Thanks to all of you.